If you grew up in the 70s, these old photos will bring back memories. The 1970s was more than disco balls and bell-bottoms. It was a decade full of unique trends and everyday details that only those who lived it remember. Let's explore 20-plus things from the 70s that kids today just wouldn't understand. Ready for a trip back in time? TV landscape kids today, with streaming at their fingertips, might struggle to imagine the limited TV options of the 1970s. Back then, you had just 3 channels plus public broadcasting. This scarcity made watching TV a special, anticipated event. People would circle shows in the TV guide and eagerly wait for Saturday morning cartoons, which were a beloved family ritual. Families gathered around the TV with cereal bowls, sharing laughter and excitement. Changing channels meant physically turning a dial, often with a satisfying click, and adjusting the antenna to clear the picture was a group effort. With so few choices, kids spent more time playing outdoors, encouraged by boredom, curiosity, and their parents pushing them to explore beyond the screen. Mixtapes, before the age of Spotify, playlists, and digital downloads. The 1970s gave us the mixtape, an art form and personal expression. These cassette tapes were carefully compiled from radio recordings and borrowed albums. More than just music collections, they were musical love letters. Making a mixtape took patience, sitting by the radio, finger ready on the record button, waiting for the right song. Sometimes a DJ's voice would sneak in, adding a charming imperfection. The physical experience of handling cassettes, the click of inserting a tape, the whir of rewinding, and using a pencil to untangle tape was part of the fun. Mixtapes were heartfelt gifts, portable soundtracks that changed how we connected with music in everyday life. Underoos. Imagine a time when turning into your favorite superhero didn't need costumes or gadgets, just a pair of Underoos. These underwear sets, emblazoned with superhero logos, blurred the line between everyday clothes and fantasy. Wearing Superman Underoos was more than dressing up. It was a transformation. Kids would parade around with imaginary capes, feeling invincible in their hero roles. Before video games brought superheroes to life virtually, Underoos offered a physical, imaginative way to step into those roles. They were a simple but powerful way for kids to live out their fantasies and believe in the power of good. Record stores. In the 1970s, record stores were vibrant community spots for music lovers. More than just shops, they were places to discover new artists, debate music, and connect with others who shared your passion. Like busy malls, friends met there to browse vinyl, tracing grooves that promised hours of music. Listening to an album before buying wasn't just smart, it was a shared ritual that sparked conversations. Staff were passionate experts, offering personalized recommendations and hidden gems. It was common to strike up conversations with strangers over favorite bands, proving music's power to connect people. These stores were sanctuaries of passion and community, a rich experience that digital music today can't replicate. In your memory, what is the most memorable experience from the 1970s? Please share it in the comments below. The disco era. Disco music pulsed through the 1970s, transforming dance floors into vibrant spaces of energy and expression. Groups like KC and the Sunshine Band mixed funk, R&B, and pop to create feel-good hits like Get Down Tonight and That's the Way I Like It, capturing the carefree spirit of the time. The Bee Gees, with their soaring harmonies, became disco royalty thanks to the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. Their music remains tied to iconic images of John Travolta on the dance floor. Disco was more than sound. It was a dazzling sensory celebration of flashing lights, glittering outfits, and the joy of moving freely. It symbolized freedom, individuality, and music's power to bring people together. Bell-bottom pants. Bell-bottom pants, those wide flares from the 60s and 70s, were more than just fashion. They symbolized rebellion, freedom, and individuality, originating from sailors' practical trousers in the 1800s. They gained cultural meaning during the 1960s counterculture, often made of denim and decorated with embroidery or patches. They reflected the era's psychedelic art and music. Icons like Sonny and Cher popularized them, especially on disco dance floors. Though less common by the late 70s, bell-bottoms remain a lasting symbol of bold style and nonconformity, popping up again in fashion over the years. Shag carpeting. Picture yourself in a 1970s living room, groovy tunes hum from the stereo, and your feet sink into a thick, plush carpet. That's shag carpeting, arguably the coziest symbol of the decade. These carpets weren't just soft, they exploded with wild colors and funky patterns in oranges, browns, greens, and yellows. Shag was all about standing out and making a bold statement. Walking barefoot on those fluffy fibers wasn't just comfy. It transformed any space into a warm, inviting retreat. While shag carpets aren't as common in homes today, back then they were everywhere, embodying an era when interior design was playful, colorful, and unapologetically fun. Hitchhiking today. Hitchhiking seems risky and outdated with rideshare apps and safety worries. But in the 1970s, it was a common and trusted way to travel. It symbolized freedom, adventure, and kindness among strangers. People from all walks of life hitched rides, sharing stories and journeys. While there were risks, those moments often added to the excitement. Though now mostly illegal and frowned upon, hitchhiking still reminds us of a time when faith in others and shared experiences ruled the open road. Men's style. The 1970s were a time for men to showcase bold self-expression, and their style was all about confident masculinity. Mustaches were worn proudly, sideburns grew long and flowing, and big hair was a sign of vitality and swagger. The scent of strong aftershave lingered in the air, a subtle announcement of presence. The macho look went beyond fashion. It was a cultural statement of ruggedness and assertiveness. Men embraced daring choices, from flashy disco shirts with wild patterns to snug bell-bottom jeans. Leaving a few shirt buttons undone to reveal a hairy chest added a flirtatious edge, hinting at the untamed spirit beneath. There was an undeniable air of confidence and charm in men's fashion then, a timeless mix of individuality and masculinity that defined the decade. Women's beauty trends. Women in the 1970s embraced bold self-expression through beauty trends that captured the decade's free-spirited vibe. One favorite was Sun In, a lemon juice-based hair lightener promising sun-kissed highlights without long hours in the sun. Many hoped for that natural, glowing look that matched the era's carefree attitude. Another iconic product was Love's Baby Soft perfume, a sweet, powdery fragrance that whispered innocence and youthful charm. This scent became a must-have on teenage vanities and came to symbolize 70s femininity. Though its advertising, featuring young models in playful poses, might raise eyebrows today, it serves as a reminder of how cultural standards shift. What once was aspirational can later be viewed through a more critical lens, reflecting the evolving nature of beauty and society. What parts of this story did you like the most? Please share with us. We would love to hear from you in the comments. Pet rock. The 1970s were full of quirky fads, but few were as hilarious and oddly endearing as the pet rock. Invented by advertising exec Gary Dahl, this fad involved selling plain, smooth stones as if they were living pets. Each rock came in its own cardboard box with air holes and even a humorous care manual. The joke was obvious: rocks don't need feeding, walking, or affection. Yet people embraced the absurdity. They carried their rocks, gave them names, and even dressed them up. Though it faded fast, the pet rock craze remains a charming relic of a time when we celebrated irony and laughed at consumer culture and at ourselves. Mood rings. Mood rings were more than just fun jewelry. They caught on in the 1970s when people were getting more interested in emotions and self-awareness. These rings used heat-sensitive crystals that changed color with your body temperature, claiming to reflect your mood: blue for calm, green for stress, and so on. While the science was shaky, the idea felt meaningful. They gave emotions a visible form, sparked conversations, and made a small statement about tuning into how you felt. Today, they may seem like a gimmick, but they still bring back memories of a time when even a ring could feel like a window into your inner world. Rotary phones. Before smartphones or even push-button phones, rotary phones ruled the day. These familiar home devices required users to place a finger in the numbered dial hole, spin it around, and wait for it to click back before dialing the next number. It feels like a relic today, but there was a certain satisfaction in the methodical click-click of the dial. Making a call used to require intention and patience. Rotary phones remind us of a simpler era when communication was slower and more deliberate. They may seem quaint now, but they're enduring symbols of how our everyday interactions once had a different rhythm. Answering the phone. In the 1970s, each phone ring was a moment of anticipation. Without caller ID, every call was a mystery until you lifted the receiver to say, "Hello." The phone could be a friend with exciting news, a family member checking in, or a pesky telemarketer. Americans answered anyway because it was all part of the experience. Kids today, so used to selective silence and blocked numbers, might find it odd that families once embraced every ring. And there was something charming about pacing the kitchen, phone cord winding behind you as you chatted away. It was tactile and spontaneous, a world apart from today's polished and private digital communications. Polaroid cameras and photo booths before digital photography. The Polaroid camera brought instant magic to picture-taking. You had just a few shots per pack, which made each one feel special. And who could forget shaking the photo to speed development? That little ritual became a part of the experience. For spontaneous fun, photo booths in malls, arcades, and rinks offered quick strips of memories, complete with red curtains and brilliant flash. Together, these devices made capturing moments a physical and joyful experience. It's something digital images don't quite replicate. Comment number 1. If you liked the content, mushroom decor. Step into a typical 1970s kitchen, and you'd find avocado green appliances and harvest gold countertops alongside cheerful mushroom motifs everywhere. From plates and curtains to striking wallpaper, these whimsical fungi designs reflected a desire for earthy, organic aesthetics and a playful nod to nature. It was part of a broader cultural trend that embraced environmental awareness and the Back to the Earth movement. Mushroom decor wasn't just kitschy, it symbolized a deeper yearning for simplicity and connection to the natural world. Cereal prizes. Saturday morning cartoons just weren't complete without a giant bowl of sugary cereal. But let's be honest, we weren't always in it for the taste. We were on a treasure hunt. The real prize was the toy hidden at the bottom of the box. Would it be a baking soda-powered submarine, a goofy monster figurine, a decoder ring to share secrets with your friends? The anticipation was everything. The best part was digging your hand all the way to the bottom of the box, often pouring out way too much cereal just to get to it faster. It was a simple thrill, a brilliant piece of marketing that made breakfast the most exciting part of the day. Rabbit ears, antennas. Getting a clear TV picture used to be an art form. Before cable came along, we all relied on a pair of rabbit ears sitting on top of the TV set. Getting them in just the right position to eliminate the static and ghosts was a constant battle. You'd send your kid to go stand by the TV. A little to the left, no, back to the right, hold it right there, was a common command in households across America. And who didn't try wrapping a bit of aluminum foil around the ends for a little extra boost? It was a daily ritual that required patience and a bit of luck. But finally, getting that clear picture just in time for your favorite show was a victory worth celebrating. Pong Pong might have looked simple, just 2 paddles and a bouncing ball, but it sparked a cultural shift. When it launched in 1972, it introduced the world to interactive digital fun. Its charm came from how easy it was to play and how hard it was to stop. Players quickly found themselves hooked, strategizing every move as the ball picked up speed. It was not flashy or complex, but it did not need to be. Pong brought generations together and laid the groundwork for what would become a multi-billion-dollar industry. It was more than a game. It was the birth of something big. Detachable can tabs. Opening a soda in the 1970s was a sensory experience. You would yank the tab off the can with a satisfying snap, often followed by a metallic clink as the tab hit the ground. These pull tabs, completely removable from the can, were everywhere, from beaches to playgrounds and occasionally underfoot. Stepping on one barefoot could leave a lasting impression. Although the design was far from eco-friendly or safe, it reflected a time when convenience took the lead. Today's tabs stay put, but the old ones remind us of an era when even small rituals came with a bit more risk and flair. Tang Tang was more than just a powdered drink mix. For many kids in the 70s, it felt like a sip of the future. Its connection to the space program gave it instant cool points, even if astronauts did not drink it on every mission. All you had to do was mix it with water, and suddenly you had a bright orange drink that felt special. Tang became a breakfast staple, especially for families with space dreams and busy mornings. Other flavors, like grape and cherry, joined in, but nothing quite beats the original. One sip, and the memories come rushing back. Think I missed something? Share your favorite 70s memory in the comments. If you enjoyed this throwback, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep the spirit of the 70s alive. Thanks for watching.